Great. Well, welcome to day 2 of our posture and strength class. Just a very brief review of our day 1. We went over activation of our deep core and related to that, kind of our postural alignment with that activation, both in a seated and a standing position. We are going to be staying in a seated position all day today. So you have 2 options there. You can be seated with your back completely against the chair and your feet flat on the ground to give yourself a little extra support for our exercises today. Or to challenge yourself a little bit more, you can scoot forward so you're not against the back, which forces you to use your muscles just a little bit more, works a little bit more on endurance. You can also just move back and forth between those 2 positions as you feel like you need to. So our main cues from that first day is really thinking about this deep core activation, and I cued that with this concept of gently pulling your belly button up and in, kind of aiming towards the bottom base of your neck. And it's really, really slight. I always say it's about a 10% effort. You should not feel like you're crunching. You should not feel like you have to hold your breath. It's not an all-out activation. It really is just like oh, there we go, I'm on, which cues a lot of deep stability muscles to stabilize your spine and give your body that awareness of where you are in space. The other cue that I really like is the string pulling through the top of your head, trying to get yourself to be an inch taller. That combos really well with that belly button activation because it ensures that you're not just crunching down. You're active, but you're lengthening through your spine. And so that is the foundation of today. If that concept still seems a little bit foreign, both in your body or in your mind, then I suggest going back to day 1 and working through that and then coming back to this to build on it. So you'll hear me say that a few times during today's session, but really it should be on all the time. Okay, so we're going to start either with your back against the chair or just a little bit out, which is going to force you, again, to use your muscles a little bit more. Just that gentle up and in. You're relaxing through your chest, relaxing through your shoulders, and then tall through your spine. And let's just take a couple of deep breaths here, in through your nose and out through your mouth, eyes opened or eyes closed, whatever you prefer. And as you continue to take those deep breaths, continuing to be active, continuing to be tall. Perfect. So we're going to keep that activation as you gently start to roll your shoulders backwards. So what I want you to feel here is your shoulder blades gliding over your rib cage. Ideally, this is a fairly smooth motion. Ideally, your right and left shoulders are working at the same pace. Good. And then we'll pause. And now we'll roll forward. So again, coordinating that motion of your right and left shoulders. We're still active and tall. Still breathing. Good. And then letting your shoulders relax, kind of giving yourself a little shake or shimmy if that's comfortable. I'm going to move my chair back a little bit so you can see me a little bit better. So for this next one, we're going to be moving through our spine. So hands to your thighs, and you're going to tuck your chin, let your shoulders and spine roll forward. This is a modified angry cat pose. And then opening your chest, arching through your back, looking forward, maybe even looking up if that's comfortable. Good. So we'll work with our breath. So we'll inhale into that rounded cat position. Exhale into chest forward, that modified cow, moving back and forth with your breath at whatever pace you feel comfortable. What I want you to feel is a stretch through the front of your shoulders as you're in that modified cow, and a stretch between your shoulder blades, opening up through your back in this modified cat. Breathing as you move. If this feels like too much, then you can always just keep your head still and move through your shoulders. Couple more here. Trying to elongate that breath, maybe deepen that stretch if it's comfortable. Perfect. And then we're going to come back into your sitting position, active through your core, tall through your spine. I'm going to cue breathing with this. If that feels like too much, just ignore my breathing cues. Okay, so we're going to inhale, reach up towards the sky, fingertips high, tall through your spine. And then on your exhale, we're going to reach to the corner of the room. So we're opening up through the side of our body. As we reach, we'll take another deep breath in, and then on your exhale, let yourself sink into a stretch. So the first movement was active. This is a passive stretch. Perfect. So on your next inhale, we're reaching high to the sky, tall through your spine. Exhale, reaching actively through the corner of the room, opening up through this side of your body, taking a breath, and then on your exhale, we'll sink passively into the stretch. Excellent. Good. On your inhale, both arms back up to the sky, reaching to the sky. Exhaling into cactus arms, so squeezing your shoulder blades down and back. Good. Inhale, reach again. We're going to do a few just like that. Exhale, squeezing your shoulder blades. Elbows are, in theory, going to try to touch each other, but they won't. Inhale, reach. Exhale, cactus arms, squeezing shoulder blades. Relax through the top of your shoulders. One more, just like that. Inhale, reach. Exhale, cactus arms. Holding that squeeze position. We're tall through your spine. You're active through that belly button. Take a breath in, and then on your exhale, you're going to turn as far as you feel comfortable. The chair might block you. That's okay. Inhale, back to center. We're still squeezing our shoulder blades. Exhale, turn the other way. Perfect. Inhale, back to center. Reaching through your fingertips again, tall through your spine. Now on your exhale, both hands come to the side of your body. You can use your chair or use your thigh to twist a little deeper, but staying tall through your spine. Take a nice deep breath here. Good. And then on your inhale, we're untwisting. Arms come back up over your head. Good. Exhale, twisting the other way. Good. Still tall through your spine, active through your core. You can use the leverage of the chair or your thigh to push deeper into that twist if it's comfortable. Good. Then on our inhale, we're untwisting fingertips. Come back to the sky, reaching high, and then exhale, letting your hands come back to your thighs, letting yourself shake it out if you want to. Good. Similar to the modified cat-cow, this is also going to be an activation with a movement. So we're still on through here, but we're going to let our whole trunk move. So a lot of variables here. You can vary the speed. You can vary if your head comes with you. You can vary where you're looking, if you're going to let your eyes kind of go with the movement or focus on a single point. This is all to comfort level. Okay, and then we'll pause. And then when you're ready, go the other way. Perfect. Coming back to center. That's a big visual and vestibular stimulation. So if it takes a moment to regroup, that's okay. We'll come back into that activation, come back into that tall through our spine. Okay, from here, we're staying still through our spine now. Our palms are going to be up, our elbows are going to be into our side. And from here, you're going to squeeze your shoulder blades as you bring your hands out. Shoulder blades relax, hands come in. We're going to move back and forth. You're opening up through the front of your shoulders as you squeeze your shoulder blades, coming back together. Relaxed through your shoulders as you move back and forth at your own pace. Really pinching and activating those postural muscles of your shoulder blade and thoracic spine. As an option, when you come back to this video, if you have a TheraBand, this is a really nice one to progress with a little bit more strength as an option in the future. Perfect. So our next one, we're going to go palms facing forward, relax through our shoulders, tall through our spine. Very similar action for our shoulder blades. You're going to pinch your shoulder blades together, open through the front of your shoulders, and then come forward. Moving back and forth, focusing on pinching your shoulder blades. This is another one that with time, as you feel like you get stronger, you can use a TheraBand to really work more through that strength through the back of your shoulder blades. Couple more here. Good. Then from here, we're going to give ourselves a big hug, really reaching your fingertips around your shoulder blades. Good. From here, you're going to try to lift your elbows up. It's going to arch your back a little bit, maybe gaze forward, and then let yourself kind of round through your back. It's like you're pulling your fingertips on your shoulder blades to get that stretch between your shoulder blades. Coming up, elbows up, little arch in your back, looking up to the sky and moving up and down 2 more times. Make sure you're breathing. Make sure this is an active movement. You're not just slumping through it, but you're actively controlling it. Good. And now note what elbow is on top, because we're going to extend and now switch that top elbow. Perfect. Same thing here. Really reach around as far as you can, and then lifting your elbows, lifting your gaze, and then tucking your chin, opening up through the back of your shoulders, letting yourself breathe with it. Two more, just like that. Good. We're coming back into our normal seated position, checking in with our activation, taking a breath here. Okay, and now we're going to put our fingertips into each other. So I want some pressure into your fingertips. So we're activating through our pec muscles and through our bicep muscles, but we're relaxed through our shoulders. We're still tall through our spine. So nice little pressure here. And then we're going to move diagonally in front of us, still maintaining that pressure. And then if you want to get more motion, then let your whole shoulder, trunk, and head move with this diagonal. For this one, a good progression would be to hold on to a weighted ball or just a dumbbell, maybe 2 or 3 pounds to start, maybe working up to 5 to 8 pounds. Couple more in this direction. Good. Then we'll come back right in the center, relaxing through the tops of our shoulders, tall through our spine, active through our core, putting pressure into those fingertips. And now we're going to diagonal the other direction. Yep, breathing as you move, making this motion as small as you need to, or really making it as big as you need to. What you'll notice is on different days or different times of the day, your tolerance to this might be very different. That's okay. Always just listen to what your body's saying and let yourself move in a comfortable range of motion, always taking breaks if you need to. Couple more here. Good. And then coming back to center, hands to your thighs. We'll take a nice cleansing breath, reactivating, revisiting those cues. Good. Letting your symptoms simmer if they're there. Good. Are moving into our next exercise. We're really going to activate through our rectus abdominis, which is our six-pack muscles of our core. Not necessarily a stabilizing muscle, but really important for like picking things up, opening heavy doors, getting in and out of the car, things like that. So we're going to start with our hands in front of us like we're sleepwalking. Again, shoulder blades are down and back, tops of our shoulders are relaxed. From here, you're going to activate through these muscles by doing a little mini crunch and then coming back up. So if we're going to breathe with this, we're going to exhale as we crunch. Inhale as you come back into that active sitting posture. So really thinking about bringing the bottoms of your ribs towards the tops of your pelvis. We're scrunching these abdominal muscles together, and your arms are just coming along for the ride. So let's do about 5 or 6 more at your own pace. This would be another good one as you progress that you can hold a few pounds and make that a little bit more challenging for your arms and for your core. Perfect. 2 more. Make sure you're still breathing. Good. Coming back to our sitting posture, taking a nice breath, revisiting our activation cues, relax through our shoulders. Okay, so we've done a lot of upper body related to our posture and our core. Now we're going to activate a little bit more through our lower body. So again, you can be all the way back for more stability or a little bit more challenging if you're sitting forward. So I like the cue of hands to your hips because it helps keep your shoulder blades down and back, and it gives you awareness of what your pelvis and your core are doing. So what we're going to start with is just a nice march. So the cue here is to not let yourself lean back as you march. We really want to keep that nice upright posture as we're activating through our hip flexors and our deep lower core. So a progression of this one would be to put ankle weights, maybe 1 or 2 pounds to start, maybe working up to 5 pounds on each foot is a really, really nice way to progress this. A lot of times we think of this as a lower body strengthening, but right now we're really more focused on what is our spine doing, what's our core doing as we move our body. So this is a really, really great kind of mental and physical exercise to help with stability for walking. Because if you notice, if you start rocking with this or you start leaning back, if you do that when you're walking, that's going to make you feel really unstable. But in this position, we have the stability of the chair. We know we're balanced, so we can really focus on what are we doing here to keep ourselves stable as our legs alternate movement. Okay, we'll pause there. Our next exercise is a little bit harder than that. So if your hips are feeling a little weak, this might be a little hard, but we're going to work into it. So you're going to straighten your leg all the way out. And then from here, just try to pulse it up and down. Right? So we're going straight out the best you can, still staying nice and tall. If it's really hard to stay tall, bring your back against the chair. Then that helps give you that awareness. This is not a big movement. If I turn to the side, you'll see my leg is really only moving a couple inches. Okay, let's do 2 more. Good, pause, regroup, reactivate, and then let's try that other side. So this is one you might feel a big difference side to side. If you feel one side is a lot weaker than the other, then you want to do a little extra on that weaker side to really encourage it to catch up to that stronger side. When one side is a lot weaker than the other, that's really going to give us these sensations of imbalances. An imbalance can come from that physical strength perspective, but then it creates more movement, and that's definitely going to give us that feeling of being off balance. Okay, remember we're still active through here, tall through our spine. Should really feel your thigh and your hip working.
One quick question.
Okay, and then we're going to relax there. So we have a question here. Go ahead.
So I noticed when you're doing that, right, you're pulsating your feet, but I notice your toes are facing upwards. Is there a difference if the toe goes upwards or points straight, like you stretch it in front?
So great question. I like the toes upward because that automatically means that you're activating through your thigh more. You can point your toe and still have a great exercise, but I think you're going to get a little more bang for your buck if your toe is towards your shin, because it's ensuring that we're really, really activating through that thigh muscle. Great question. Okay, so our next exercise is actually our last exercise from a strength perspective. Then we'll do one stretching exercise here. Okay, so we're going to go hands just behind our ears. So I don't want you way up here. I want your elbows still below your shoulders so we're not too scrunched through here. And then we're going to try to touch opposite elbow to opposite knee, come back, opposite elbow to opposite knee. If that feels like too much, we can just start here. This helps activate the obliques of our core, which are really important for like rolling over in bed, anything that involves turning or twisting. They are also a little bit of a stabilizer muscle as well. So very functional in our day-to-day life in lots of different ways. So we're going to make sure you're breathing. We're going to make sure that you're still on and active through your muscles. We're not just flying into this in just a lazy, haphazard way. It's really intentional, bringing your elbow to your knee. Make sure that you're staying relaxed through the tops of your shoulders. Still breathing. You're relaxed through your jaw. So we're going to do about 10 more of these. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. And then we'll relax. Okay, we got one more question here. Go ahead.
I just want a quick thing. I was doing it, but I noticed I was moving my neck also, and I'm going down.
That's okay.
After looking at you, I realized you are moving your shoulder, not your neck. Is that correct?
So both are good. You are automatically going to get a little bit of neck motion. the more neck motion you get, the more vestibular and visual stimuli that you get. And so that's a personal preference based on your symptoms and how far you want to go. So my simple answer is do what's comfortable. It's not really, it doesn't really matter, but it does. I'm not saying that there's a right or wrong, though. Do what's comfortable. Great question.
But I find it's great doing it lying down. Like you can do it lying down also, right?
You can do it lying down also. It's actually a lot harder lying down because you're working against gravity. The thing to be careful of lying down is that there's a tendency to kind of like jut your chin out as you're doing it. And you just have to be mindful of kind of keeping yourself in that better posture. But yes, it's definitely an exercise you can do lying down. Great question. Okay, so we have one more exercise and it's a nice finishing stretch. So I'm going to give you two options for this one. The first one is just letting your ear drop to your shoulder. And we can accentuate that by actually sitting on our opposite hand. This helps kind of stabilize and pull the shoulder down to get more of a stretch here. So that's a great stretch for your upper trap. And then a slight difference to this is letting your chin come down towards your shoulder. And this is going to get a little bit more into the back of your neck, which is your levator scapula muscle. So both are good options. If you like one better than the other, then just stay in that one a little bit longer. But we're still breathing through this. Still tall through your spine. We're not just slumping into it. Good. Then when you're ready, we'll come up into sitting. We'll switch by sitting on your opposite hand. Then we'll start ear to shoulder. Good. And then again, that option to bring that chin towards your armpit. And this letting your head fall forward just a little bit. But really your head should be nice and relaxed, really letting your muscles stretch and let gravity do its job. So we'll take another couple breaths here in whatever position you like a little bit better. Okay, and then when you're ready, coming back into sitting, reactivating that belly button up through towards the back of your spine. You're relaxed through your shoulders, tall through your spine. Let's take a deep breath in through your nose, then out through your mouth. Good. Perfect. Well, that completes our day 2 of our posture and strength class. And today we really focused on shoulder blade activation, opening up through our chest and combo with the activation we talked about last time for our spine. That really helps cue more of that upright posture. Because if we're not upright when we're sitting or walking, and we tend to be kind of hunched over, it's so much harder to move through the world in this position. So always just kind of cueing that stability, that upright posture, the stable posture to give your visual and vestibular system a foundation for a nice stable surface is always going to be helpful. And it's one of those things that no matter what scenario you're in, you can activate, you can get your shoulder blades down and back, you can be active through your posture. And it's something that can immediately help you just feel more stable, more balanced, less dizzy, less symptomatic. Then we moved into a little bit more core activation and then a little bit more leg activation, which I think is a little bit harder and might be a work in progress, but again, also really, really important. So day 3, next week, we're going to build even more on that and going to work even more into strength. So we're using every day as a foundation to build into our next day. So day 3 is going to be just a little bit more strength, little bit more effort. I'll give you lots of different cues for ways to progress or maybe ways to modify to help you feel more comfortable. So I'm excited to see you guys all next week. You have our email address, balanceworkteam@gmail.com, if you have any questions or problems in between.